This week on Pat and Bish versus everything, we go versus the Royal Rumble. It wasn't good. We go versus Ice. Also, not very good. We go versus the Super Bowl, which is not going to be very good. And we talk about my political career, which especially was not very good. All that and a lot more this week on Pat and Bish versus everything. Oh yeah, it's episode 2, week 2 of Pat and Bish versus everything. Week 1, we got a lot of views out there, got a lot of new fans. We opened a store, and besides that, I don't know, what else did we do? Bish, how was your week?
Well, we watched the Royal Rumble. We're going to be talking about that in a second. Oh my God, I'm still trying to get the taste out of my mouth of that. But
Yeah.
Shout out to Justin for hopping on in and helping us with that. Besides this weekend, I took it easy. I slept a lot.
Are you okay?
Oh yeah, no, it was great. I just had a chance to take some naps, go to bed early. I mean, recharge the batteries. It was great.
That's right, it was your birthday week too.
It
So
was
you
my birthday
are
weekend.
allowed
Yeah,
to. Yeah,
yeah.
you're allowed to have a bit of an off week, we'll say. And so what did you do for your birthday? Did you get any loving or anything like that, or is that over the line?
I always get some loving from my beautiful wife.
That's beautiful.
My birthday supper. She's like, "Where would you like to go?" I said, "Let's go to Taco Bell." And
Yeah.
I went hard on the Taco Bell. Like I've been pretty much dairy free, gluten free, sugar free all this month. So I broke my diet pretty hard this week. That's probably why I was sleeping a lot. Probably had a sugar crash or something here and there. But yeah, I went hard on the Taco Bell, pounded back a deep and delicious McCain cake. If you don't know what they are, vanilla, Google it. Oh my God,
Yes.
they're delicious.
That
Their name.
is great. When we were in Vegas, we ate almost exclusively at Taco Bell. Yeah, and so I know that you are a real supporter of the Taco Bell. We just had one open up here, the first one open up in Newfoundland, and I drove by once. It's opened up now for about a month. I drove by once maybe a week ago, and there's still a lineup of cars going down the block, so I haven't had the opportunity to get in there yet.
Oh man, go for the new deluxe box. You get a little bit of everything. You get like a little couple of cheese burritos. You get some tacos and this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, good stuff.
What
Delicious.
did you wash that down with a Baja Blast?
Unfortunately, the Baja Blast was out of service when I was there that
my
night. But
God.
that is, of course, my go-to when I go to
Yes.
Taco Bell. It's Baja Blast. But
Yeah. I might
deluxe
just go
box
through-
and 2 soft tacos on the side. I just demolish it all in like 20
Yeah.
seconds. Yeah,
Yeah, and then you ate all that cake.
kidding me? And ate all that cake. Yeah.
I do love a deep and delicious as well. They have I like the marble, I like the vanilla, I like the chocolate, but my go-to is the coconut.
Oh, that's my least favorite, the coconut. I cannot believe it. Oof.
We'll have to have a spirited debate about that at some
will.
point in time.
But if I may, my friend, can I start to show off with something else that I did not like before we get into the Royal Rumble? I got to say, for my birthday gift, my lovely wife purchased us some Tom Green tickets. Tom Green is on
Yeah.
tour.
Yes, my God.
The Stompin' Rodeo Tour or something, whatever it's called. I'm a big fan of Tom Green. Have been for years, ever since he
Yes.
humped his first dead moose. I still listen to Check the OR on the daily.
Yeah.
Very, very
Yeah, I
excited
don't
for the
believe
show. Yeah. So we get there. The place is packed. And within the first 5 minutes of him and his show opening, he made fun of, first of all, he said, who out there was all at the lineups yesterday, referring to the separatist lineups here in Alberta. And half the audience started cheering and going nuts. And then he pretty much called them MAGA of the North and started saying, where's all your MAGA hats? And all that stuff. So he lost half the crowd like
Wow.
right away, like boom, done. And then the show was 3 hours long,
Yes.
and the last hour of the show was Tom singing "The Gambler," if the chorus over and over and over again. You get the know when to hold him, know when to
Yeah.
fold him. He did it probably, I shit you not, 35 to 40 times. And then he got
Just
on his phone.
continuous, or was he
Just
breaking into
continuous.
story?
Just continuous. Over and
Wow.
over again. You're like, come on now. Come on right there. Let's go. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he did like 40 times in a row. I'm not even kidding.
No, I believe it.
And then he took out his phone and he started having a conversation with Chat GBT on his phone, just about nothing. And he did that between the Gambler and the Chat GPT thing. That was a full hour of his show. People were leaving before it was over. I wish I could have left before it was over, but I was being blocked by an entire family in a row. So
People, yes.
yeah, a lot of people. So it was horrible, horrible experience. I do not recommend. Tom Green -5 stars. I'm so
Ooh.
disappointed. So
Well,
disappointed.
it's I'm not surprised. I actually went to. I didn't tell you this, but my brother got me tickets when he came to St. John's in 2024, and he I skipped the first act and came while he was still doing his thing. He had a good audience, hot audience. He didn't say anything divisive like yours, but it was clear very quickly that this was going to be about him singing songs more than telling many stories about his time in the spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did leave early, and I'm a big Tom Green fan too. But here's the thing: is like I'm not going to see Tom Green to hear him perform music.
No, I want to hear jokes. I want to see a comedy show. I'm not going there to hear him butcher, and I mean absolutely butcher, Tragically Hip and Wheat Kings and another song. I mean, it was like
Was he
I had to put my
performing
hands over
these?
my ears. Like it was so bad. He was trying to do. He was trying to be serious. He like
Yeah.
and
Wow.
it was so bad. Wheat Kings was the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. As I said, if I could have walked out, I would have. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's unfortunate. He was performing all serious songs too, and it doesn't work. I mean, Tom Green is a guy that has built his career on being insincere, and you can't really take anything that he's doing seriously. Like, frankly, doing the Gambler song for an hour straight, that's more aligned with what a Tom Green show would be about, just trolling people.
mm-hmm.
It would be annoying, obviously, to be part of that joke, for the joke to be played, but going and hearing him doing his original music, and he brought his dog out on stage, and it was just sort of cheap pops kind of thing for that.
So yes, pretty much the same show we had. Yeah, he brought his dog on stage, and yeah, he started singing his originals for his wife and shit like that. And it was just
Yeah.
like, why am I here? Like this is not what I purchased.
No, I know. I've heard that the Kenny versus Spenny tour is pretty good. When they go out, they give you more of what you're looking for. Were you a big Kenny versus Spenny fan?
Love Kenny versus Penny. Absolutely
Yeah.
loved. I've
So
seen it
I
every
think they're
single
actually
episode.
going out. They're going out on tour sometime this year again. So give them a shot.
Perfect.
Also, Tom Green would not respond to our request for an interview, which maybe is probably good.
Probably for the better. Yeah.
Yes.
For the best. Yeah.
Now, Aaron, we know every week on Versus Everything, we do a variety of topics. Last week, I wanted to do a segment about disinformation, but we got to chat for so much longer about all these other different things that we never really got the chance to do it. So this week, we're going to do our first little bit of disinformation, and I was going to do a different story. We had talked about doing a different story about disinformation, but after our conversation about ICE, I felt we had a duty not only to our audience, but to you specifically, Bish, to circle back to this topic. So last week, I don't know if you remember, but you mentioned the amount of ICE raids and deportations that happened during the Obama administration. Do you remember that?
I do.
Remember
yes.
your quote?
I don't remember the quote exactly, but I do remember talking about
The
it. Yeah.
statistics, I should say? Well, they were in the millions. It was the highest in history. And you asked, why did these protests happen? Or why did these raids happen? There was no protests. No one was killed while he was in charge. And now here we are 10 years later, and Americans are being killed in their streets. It's over their outrage of what these ICE officers are doing. So I wanted to get into that. I wanted to get into why we are seeing protests now that we didn't see before for the same job being done. So if you watch the protests erupt across the United States the last few weeks and wondered, how did that mobilize so fast? This is what we're talking about. It's manufactured, amplified, and deployed through infrastructure that most people never see. But I want to be clear from the beginning because this subject invites bad faith responses. And so this is not an argument that every protester is paid. This is not an argument that every protest is fake. And this is not an argument that people do not have real reason to be angry over this stuff, because people do. Most people show up because they believe in something, because they are scared, because they're frustrated, and because they feel powerless, and they want their voice to matter. But here's the part that gets deliberately ignored. Real anger is the easiest raw material in the world to weaponize. We were talking last night about how Gunther had to be escorted out of arenas because people wanted to kill him for what he did to John Cena. Do you remember that, Aaron?
Yes, I do.
Well, this is the same thing. And you know what? That one of those Ice guys had a very similar Gunther haircut. But anyways, once you understand how modern political activism is funded and structured through nonprofit organizations, through fiscal sponsorships, through donor-advised fund systems, and through media arms designed to frame events instantly, it becomes easier to see how disinformation spreads at scales without anyone needing to even lie outright. So I want to walk you through what I call the protest pipeline. That's me. I came up with this. It's called the protest pipeline. And I'm not going to talk about ideology. This is not a pro-Trump thing. This is something that goes across, but Trump does factor into it. So I'm going to start with a name that keeps showing up in reports and in congressional letters and in academic research. Aaron, have you ever heard of a gentleman by the name of Neville Roy Singham?
I have not, no.
No. Well, Neville Roy Singham is a United States tech entrepreneur and the founder of ThoughtWorks, and he has been linked in media reports to a network of advocacy organizations and media projects that promote strongly an anti-United States and pro-Beijing narratives. That's right. This is an American citizen that has not been living in America for a long time, is living in Singapore, and seems bent on the destruction of the democracy in the United States. And by extension, if you're Canadian, you should care about this too. So different sources map the Singham network differently, but a few names appear again and again in the material people cite. And these are nonprofit organizations called the People's Forum, Code Pink, who is co-founded by Jody Evans, who is Singham's wife, Breakthrough News, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, and Allied Front organizations, and the Act Now to Stop War and End Racism Coalition. Aaron, who wouldn't want to be part of a coalition that wants to stop war and end racism? Would you say you didn't want to be part of something like that?
Well, I mean, Trump has this thing called Board of Peace. I wouldn't want to be a part of that. So, I mean, it all depends on what the structure is and all that stuff. But yes,
Sure.
Generally being part of something that is anti-war would be a good thing.
Absolutely. Now, look, I didn't bring up Trump at all. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about, but you did. And this is what it all comes down to. And then we're going to save you, Bish. I'm going to save you by the end of this. I'm going to make you feel better about everything in the world, okay? All of these NGOs, not for profits, they're part of an integrated system. And so here's how the funding works, all right? A large amount of political activism is funded through nonprofit organizations. Nonprofits collect large donations and spend money on staff, rent, events, printing, media production, education campaigns, and organizing, I should say. Depending on the structure, donors are often shielded from public scrutiny. So we don't know typically who it is that's investing this money into these groups. But one of the more important tools in the system is called fiscal sponsorship. And that's when an established not-for-profit organization becomes the legal and financial home for a project. And it becomes the umbrella building a new institution from scratch. So this is getting into the weeds a bit, but I'm going to jump ahead to to paint how anti-immigration and customs enforcement activism fits into all of this, okay? So the current controversy is anti-ICE organizing particular rapid response street action, which is all of the stuff that we're seeing that's going down in Minnesota. And it appears to be supported by professional activist networks that were already mobilized around other issues. People throw the word radicalization constantly, and it's usually used as an insult, but this is what this is. It doesn't require secret meetings or hypnosis. It requires repetition. It requires emotional framing. It requires a story where one side is pure and the other side is evil. And it requires media channels that repeat that framing endlessly. Does that sound familiar?
A little bit.
Okay. This is why the media matters so much, okay? So when a network controls organizing, communications, and media, it can frame events instantly whatever way that it wants and then flood everybody. It's how an echo chamber happens, right? And so if you are hearing these statistics that, Obama never had anybody killed on his watch, that the guy that was gunned down in the street, it was done in cold blood, that the lady in the car, wasn't driving towards an officer, that these are all done in cold blood. This is how you get riled up. People see and they're like outraged. Of course you would be. I mean, you're going to be part of the coalition against racism and to stop war. And so if you see that the government is shooting down your own people in the streets, you're going to be a part of that. You don't want that to happen.
Fair enough.
Now, Aaron, this is serious. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm going to widen the lens because this guy Singham, he's not unique, okay? There's other people. His name is George Soros. Maybe you're familiar with him. He's a little better known. He's a progressive philanthropist, and he's been involved in this picture for quite some time. A Wall Street Journal analyst argues that the protests in Minnesota reveal something deeper about modern democratic politics, specifically that the activist wing is structured to respond to Donald Trump with escalation rather than restraint. So not a reasoned opposition, not measured disagreement, but just pure rage. And this is a system that was set up, and it did not begin with immigration. It began around 2010, and it happened during negotiations of a bipartisan cap and trade climate bill. And long story boring, the bill collapsed, and it was then that all of these wealthy saviors like George Soros decided that the democratic process was insufficient and too slow for their liking. So they built an army of nonprofit organizations to wage legal and political war instead. And that same infrastructure already existed when the pandemic hit. And what happened during the pandemic? The George Floyd riots in 2020 happened, and the system accelerated from there. Donors openly spoke about urgency, about inequality, about accentuated, and about the need for extra democratic action. And the money poured in, the money surged in. And since 2019, Mackenzie Scott has given $26 billion to progressive causes. Michael Bloomberg is involved, and George Soros, through his Open Society Foundation, just pumping in all that money for advocacy and activist organizations, and they're pushing social justice, Palestinian statehood, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender rights, and climate sustainability. Basically, the stuff that we've all been hearing about for, the last 5 or 6 years constantly when we go online. You remember those No Kings protests from just last year, Aaron?
Yes, sir.
You remember the No Kings protests from last fall?
Mm-hmm.
Those protests were backed by activists and sponsored by 203 nonprofit organizations. 203. So that's not a movement struggling to be heard. That is an industry. And when protests become a profession, outrage becomes a strategy. And when outrage becomes a strategy, escalation becomes inevitable. When escalation is when escalation is rewarded, misinformation becomes fuel. So now let's go back to Minnesota. The anti-ICE protests are not spontaneous uprising of an outraged citizenry, okay? You can be sure that the outrage is real. Those people out on the streets that are definitely upset, and that their distrust of the institution is very real, but these groups didn't need crazy mind control tricks to pull all these people out in the streets. Again, you just need repetition. You need emotional triggers. You need a world that can be divided easily into heroes and villains. So when the media arm plays on repeat, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, urging people to record the ICE agents' operations on their phone and help create a database of what he called atrocities, this is what that is. And it also reminds me of another thing you said last week. Aaron, do you remember when you said you lost faith in the Democrats?
I said what?
What was the event that you said happened within the Democratic Party that you said, I'm done?
Bernie Sanders, when they replaced Bernie with...
That's right. They screwed
Hillary.
Bernie Sanders. It's the same people that are organizing this stuff that did that to Bernie Sanders, and they're still cheating to get their way. It's a quote that I'm going to give to you to keep in mind, and it's been said that if you hate the way the Democrats govern, you should see what they do when they're not in power. And that's what all of this is about. What you're seeing on the news is not being done by ordinary people. Ordinary people don't post advertisements targeting hotels that rent room to ICE agents. Ordinary people do not coordinate campaigns to pressure car rental companies to not do business with ICE agents. And ordinary people do not build databases tied to federal operations. This is what professionals do. And professionals are trained, paid, housed, insured, and coordinated by nonprofit organizations. And so this is an issue, as I said at the beginning, this is bigger than Trump. This is a bigger issue. It's not even partisan. The bigger issue is that disinformation thrives when political infrastructure prioritizes pressure over persuasion. That's right. That's a lot of alliteration there. That's a lot of P's. I'm not asking you to take my word for it. Just watch a fast event. Just watch how fast an event becomes a storyline. How fast a claim becomes a known fact, even from last week. How fast people are sorted into good and evil with no time for evidence and no patience for due process. The protests in Minneapolis capture an underappreciated fact about the Democratic Party, and that is configured to react in unreasoning rage to everything President Trump does. Donor class progressives, they believe they're helping the Democrats and hurting Trump just by shoveling money into these nonprofits. And the big rub of this at all is that if you don't believe what these people are saying, then you are immediately lumped into a group where you love Donald Trump and that you are MAGA. And so they've already set up a wall for anybody to not disagree with the message that they are putting forward. So here's what I want from all of us, but especially you, Aaron. Please take away from this segment. Stop arguing about what you see on the street, Aaron. Street footage, that's the end of the pipeline, okay? Start asking who built the machine, who funds organizing hubs, who controls the messaging, who benefits when confusion spreads faster than facts, and most importantly, who decides what people are told about their own government before evidence is ever examined. People have the right to protest, but when protests become profession, when outrage becomes strategy, and when misinformation becomes fuel, you're no longer strengthening democracy. You are digging a mass grave for it. And as of this week, there are 2 bodies dumped in that mass grave. 2 bodies that thought they were doing the right thing because they were told their government was turning fascist right in front of their eyes. And now, thanks to our little talk, you know a little bit more about who told them that lie and how they got them to believe it. Thank you, Aaron. Back to you.
Thank you, Conan, for that deep dive and insightful. I don't even know what to call that.
Let me ask you now, Aaron. Do you think about ICE? Do you think about what you're seeing a little bit differently now? And if you don't, you can say that as well.
I may have to go back and re-listen to this conversation again and start to ask some questions, but I could see that you're trying to go somewhere with this, so I will do my due diligence as a civil.
I was just thinking about all that stuff right off the top of my head too. Do you believe that?
I can believe that.
Yeah.
But that was good, though. That was good, Conan. That's good. Try to get people deep in thought here. Try to get the juices flowing a little bit, something a little bit out of the box. I appreciate what you're trying to do here.
Look, ultimately, at the end of the day, and I got to stop saying that. I'm hearing everybody use that cliche at the end of the day. But ultimately, you could be angry about what's going on, which a lot of people are, or you can be less angry. I'm less angry because I don't think anything. I don't think that the government down in the States are fascist, and I know that they're not going to take over Canada. But that doesn't mean that maybe Alberta will leave, which is a larger conversation, perhaps for next week. Who knows?
For a different day. Yeah, I agree.
Now, Aaron, speaking of ice, there was a bit of a controversy last week. Was it last week that
Yeah.
that local promotion who you do ring announcing with, RCW, they made the news, the wrestling community news, when a wrestler hit the ring to the song Ice Ice Baby, and he presented himself as an ICE agent in a heel move. And so why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, apparently no one had any prior knowledge to this. He had something like a jacket or whatever over his vest, so no one actually saw the ice on his back. And he went to the sound guy before his match and suggested the music change. And people are saying, well, with the promoter, but like, how did he not notice and all this stuff? Well, I mean, I don't know. Steve said Steve, the owner of RCW, he released a message statement saying that he had no prior knowledge, and now the wrestler is fired. And sometimes Steve, he does do the ring announcing, and he also wrestles on his own show. So he's busy all the time. So, I mean, it's very possible this guy was hiding his stuff and not communicating with Steve. That is quite possible Steve didn't notice. Now, I could be wrong, too, in the video that they shown online. I could be wrong, but it seemed to me that Steve was ring announcing that night. So it's quite possible he had no idea.
You weren't at this show.
No, I was not at the show.
And what was the reaction do you know what the reaction was when the wrestler hit the ring? And what did he say?
I don't know what he said, but I mean, just from watching like a couple seconds of the video that's online, it seemed to me that there's a pop in the crowd. So I'm sure all the Alberta separatists were cheering it on. But I mean,
wow,
I'm sure that just because there's people cheering, that doesn't mean that there wasn't anybody offended. And of course, it happened on the same day that Pretty was shot. So I mean, was it bad taste? In my opinion, yeah, definitely bad taste. But the guy was trying to get heat. It's wrestling, and this thing just blew up. It went viral all over the place. And I guess like people were 50-50 on it. You were either like, this is ridiculous, this shouldn't be happening. Like Danny Savage, I don't know if anybody's seen his Facebook. He's a Savage Media. He's been going after these guys all week long. And then other people are sticking up for Steve and saying, like, it's fucking wrestling, get over it. Like,
yeah,
Sergeant Slaughter did it back in the day, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't make it right, but it's wrestling, get over it. So I don't know how anybody else out there feels, but for me personally, bad taste shouldn't have happened. Won't happen again. I can guarantee you that. And, but yeah, just
do you agree with the decision to stop booking this guy or to fire him?
I've heard two things. So I heard that he was already on the way out of the organization anyway.
Okay, so this was kind of like a grenade he was tossing.
Just a grenade he was tossing. So yeah, he pretty much just didn't give a fuck what was going on or what he did that night because he knew he was on the way out. So there you have it.
Interesting. I mean, that kind of gives it a different context. If he knew that he was going out and that it might hurt the company, then I have a bigger problem with it than if he thought that it would be interesting or a fun or an entertaining way to get some heat. Which
the wrestler also released a statement though saying that no one had any idea about it, and he apologized and stuff like that, and that he was just trying to get heat. So I mean, I don't know. Was he trying to throw a grenade and just didn't give a fuck? Possibly. Was he just trying to get heat? Possibly. Was it overblown? Definitely.
Yeah, it's interesting because, and I find that this is what happens a lot with these sort of online social media cancellation stories. Is the first thing that I heard was the apology. So I don't know if nobody said anything or released anything official, if it would have caught on. Maybe by that point it was, but the only reason I heard about it and it came across my timeline was because it was the apology and the explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Which was, he was using very vague language too, so you had no idea what it was that was going on, but it sounded like it was crazy, It sounded like I think I said it sounded like it was something that was like hate crime related or something,
Mm-hmm.
vulgar maybe. And And then, so when you hear it's like this guy going out and saying that he's an ICE officer, it's like it lessens how bad it is. I think because my mind had already gone to these like crazy places of what this guy did. But
just some wrestler portraying a character trying to get heat at the wrong moment, right time, bad taste, whatever you want to call it, just bad everything.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And, all promotions, some promotions, like even ones that we've interviewed on the show, like that doesn't fit into their production, doesn't fit into their promotion. Even in St. John's, there was Legend City Wrestling was one that, they don't want swearing, they don't want blood, they don't want, weapons and all this kind of stuff. And so some promotions, it just doesn't make sense. And then if you're in ECW, then something like this would just fit in no problem.
Exactly. But what do you guys think? You leave it in the comments. Is it overblown? Is it not blown up enough? I guess whatever your opinions are, leave them in the comments. But speaking of wrestling, we had the Royal Rumble yesterday, and holy shit, it was bad. Let's just dive right into it. I mean, there's no beating around the bush here. The ladies' Rumble, not that great, boring. I mean, it wasn't the worst ladies' Rumble I've ever seen, but when Brie Bella is your big surprise. I mean, the finish of the Rumble itself, I thought was really good. We had the three ladies on the ring apron doing all the false finishes and stuff like that. Liv Morgan eventually won, which I do think which was the right decision.
I called it.
Nice finish at the end, but just a meh Rumble. And then, of course, we had Gunther and AJ Styles, his retirement match. Again, not the greatest AJ Styles match, not the greatest Gunther match either, just meh. AJ taps out. He passes out, and that's it. His career's over. WWE career, anyway. He teases laying down the mitts or his gloves. Teases the retirement, but then he puts the gloves back on and says goodbye to everybody. So what does that mean? We don't know. Is he going to AEW? Is he going to New Japan? Is he going to TNA? Leave your opinion in the comments, folks. What's going on with AJ Styles? But he's definitely done with WWE, I do believe. Then we had Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn for the WWE Championship. Again, not that great, man. We had like the power bomb through the table. That was pretty cool. Nice spot.
And I heard that that this was almost like a Brock Lesnar John Cena SummerSlam match. It was very one-sided. I never saw this match. I only saw up until the AJ Styles.
It wasn't as bad as that, but it was pretty one-sided, yes. Yeah,
So
I mean, Sami Zayn was pretty much squashed. I don't know what they do with Sami Zayn now. He pretty much got squashed. So
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what he does. You got to turn him heel, do something. I don't know, but he's done. And then, of course, the Rumble itself, the men's Rumble. You weren't there to see it, but I thought Javon Evans had a good showing. I thought Obi Femi had a really good showing.
Yeah,
positive.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So start from the beginning. What Obi Femi?
Obi Femi's number one. Braun Breaker's number two. And we did get some storyline advancement here. Braun Breaker on his entrance to the ring got cut off by a hooded masked man. The masked man gave him a stomp and then threw him into the ring. Obi Femi took advantage, eliminated Braun Breaker right away. He was one of the favorites to win the Rumble too. So
yeah,
got some storyline here. Who attacked Braun Breaker? Who was under the mask? Could it be Adam Pearce? Could it be Seth Rollins? Could it be Jake Paul? Could it be Logan Paul?
Logan Paul.
It could be either one. It could be either one. Jake's
a bearded
rumored.
man, right? You could see a blondish kind of beard. Could you? Around his lips?
I didn't see any blonde beard on the lips, honestly, but who knows? It could be anybody. So that'll be an interesting storyline going forward. Roman Reigns winning the Rumble itself. Oh my God. I don't know why. It's got 13,000 dislikes and 15,000 likes on YouTube. So
that
the
guy,
fans are divided.
He can never win a Rumble, hey? They should never. This is his third, too, isn't it?
It's the second one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's too bad. He's not around a whole lot. I guess it's going to be him and CM Punk. I think that for the most part, the negative stuff that I heard is that there was no surprises. No surprises. Jericho never showed
Jericho,
up.
Yeah, just meh. And I don't know. Gunther and Reigns are the last two. I think it would have made more sense to make Gunther a complete fucking more badass than what he already is if he won the Rumble after retiring AJ Styles. But
Yeah, well, I mean, ultimately, you sort of make your own point as to why that match was not a bigger deal when you turned heel on AJ Styles right before the match yesterday, which is he's not as big of a deal as John Cena. So why would he have all of the pomp and ceremony that John Cena had? Nevertheless, he didn't tap out, which is, you can't say that for Mr. Cena, who did give up. But maybe they'll do something with AJ on Raw. But if he is indeed leaving and they know he's going somewhere else, that might just be it.
Yeah, I think
It was still the best match on the show.
Yeah, but that's not saying much. 4-match card.
Yeah.
2 more Rumbles.
Yeah, those Rumbles, I mean, everybody really is excited. It's the most popular event that the WWE does. It's overtaken WrestleMania for it. But people are really fickle about it, and they want to see multiple storylines going on throughout it. Like, it's not easy what people want. They want surprises. They want some old people back. You know, you got to do a lot of stuff to make people happy, or you got to reinvent the wheel like they did with Lesnar in 2022 or whenever that was.
That being said, that kind of seems like that's the direction they're going. They're trying to get this new crop of generation stars over, and the NXT stars really had a good showing at the Rumble, as I said. And it looks like coming out of the Rumble that we're going to get Obi Femi versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. So that could be either really awesome, or we can get the Goldberg Brock Lesnar match from WrestleMania 20. I don't know what kind of match we're going to see there, but it has the potential to be really, really good.
Yeah.
Also, looks like Bailey and Lyra Valkyria versus the Bella Twins. Looks to be something. Maybe that leads into the Bella Twins taking on Rhea and Io for the Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. I don't know what they're going to do with Becky Lynch. What else do I see coming out of there? Javon Evans, I got to say again, man, he really impressed me. The way he moves in that ring, the way he bounces off the ropes. Oh boy, he's like a young Shawn Michaels in there. I'm really excited to see where they go with him in the future. Trick Williams looks good. He looks like a star. As I said, looks like Swerve Strickland, just WWE version. The future, looks bright, but the immediate future, I'm not so sure. But sometimes you got to take 1 step or 2 steps back, or 1 step back to take 2 steps forward. So I think this is the kind of situation we're in now.
Yeah, you got to rebuild. And yeah, I mean, this is going to be a real test for Triple H, because it's the first year since he's taken control that there hasn't been a year-long story that he can bulk around, whether it was finishing off the Cody Rhodes thing or the John Cena retirement tour, which was not well received. Who knows what it's going to be this year. Brock Lesnar, I mean, I can't believe they flew him out there. He was apparently gone before Jey Uso got to the ring. He was gone within a couple of minutes.
Jey took like 10 minutes to get to the goddamn ring, but I mean...
Yeah. They must be doing that as a joke, right? To really lean into that this is all that people want to see from him.
I guess, I mean...
Like running it back? He runs it back all the time, right?
Runs it back all the time, yeah. Bit him in the ass at Rumble this time. Gave him a good uppercut, and I believe he got eliminated shortly afterwards.
Just like that.
Yeah. But...
Yeah. So
Royal Fumble or Royal Rumble, what do you think, boys and girls? And yeah, looks like we're going to get either Roman Reigns versus CM Punk or Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre, both which we've seen before already. I'm not looking forward to WrestleMania. This is not a good start.
No. Well, as bad as last year with the Jey Uso win?
I mean, just as.
I think Roman Reigns and CM Punk is a good match. That was what I was preferring last year than to the triple threat.
I think it's a year too late. I think.
Yeah. Well, and this is
Roman didn't look very good in the Rumble. He looked like he was, I don't know, just not completely healthy, I guess. And Punk, he's having botches in his matches all over the place. So I don't know. It's probably a year too late in my mind for this match.
And then over on the other side, it's what do you see is going to be Drew's match if he's still indeed the champion.
He's got a program with Cody going still. He eliminated Cody from the Rumble. He came out out of nowhere, and he was the cause of Cody being eliminated. So obviously they're having their story stretched a little bit longer, maybe into Elimination Chamber.
Do you see Drew McIntyre going into WrestleMania as champion?
I do see Drew going in as champion, yes, because I think the babyface has to dethrone Drew at Mania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you see Jacob Fatu being added to the mix in this?
Don't know. Possibly. I don't know what. There's so many things. Folks. There's so many like little loose ends everywhere. Right? There's no like fluent direction, I guess you can say. But we'll find out over the next coming weeks.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is just the road is now beginning, and they've laid some of the track for it, but we'll see.
We'll see.
They really they started off, and now I think he's Paul Levesque saying Raw is a new era has started, right?
It's a new era every week.
Yeah, the Paul Levesque era just started 2 years ago. We were the witness to it at WrestleMania. It
Paul
came
Levesque
out.
era, the Netflix era. I mean, I think there's some sort of era that happened a few months ago, and now we got this new era again. I mean, holy God.
He look, I don't think he's going to last very long. I don't know that he's going to make it another year. To be honest, I don't think he's like people are tired of him. I heard people in Saudi Arabia were chanting to bring back Vince. And he is just like he's gone insane with power. He's on all the posters. He's on the video game poster, like on the cover of the video game. He inducted himself into the Hall of Fame. And I just think back to Bret Hart's reaction to shaking Paul's hand at that WrestleMania when he was inducted for the match. And as soon as Triple H turned his back, Bret just shook his head.
Yeah.
'Cause he knew this is just a guy that is just drunk on his own power. And it doesn't seem like he has the goods,
No. Wrestling today just doesn't cut the mustard. It sucks. The creative is just not there. Even Roman Reigns said recently in an interview that we have to, or they, as in WWE, have to keep up creatively. They have good leadership, but yeah,
he
the
said
creative
that
is not
he
there.
liked Paul or Nick
Nick
Khan.
Khan.
Yeah, so he thinks that the money, the business side of it is
It's
good,
great,
but
but the creative is just not there.
I would imagine that Roman Reigns is more of a Rock. If it's indeed it's Rock versus Triple H over like a power struggle creatively, I think he's got to probably be more on the Rock side.
Agreed. All right. So what's next, my friend?
Super Bowl, I suppose. Aaron,
Super
why don't you tell
Bowl.
us what's going on in Super Bowl? What is it? Super Bowl? What?
Oh my God,
53?
50 something, yeah, 53, I think, yeah.
Is it? I just
I
pulled
don't know,
that.
50, 51, 52, 53, somewhere around here. Yeah.
All right.
Maybe 51, I don't know. But regardless, we got the Shithawks versus the Patriots, Drake May and the Patriots. Darno made the Super Bowl before Allen, before a bunch of people in his class. It's crazy. I think it's got to be Drake May and the Patriots. It has to be. I really can't see the Shithawks getting past the Patriots defense and Drake
I got to
May.
ask you, because you only refer to them as the Shithawks. What do you got against these guys?
I'm a 49ers
Seahawks.
fan. I'm a 49ers fan.
So they just, there's a built-in rivalry there. 'Cause
Natural
they're
rivalry
from
there,
the
yeah.
same, yeah. Okay. And so, all right, well, that's kind of, I thought maybe you'd lost a bunch of money on them or there was some sort of heartbreak.
No, that's the Calgary Flames. Fuck the Flames.
Right. Yes. I'm doing my best to keep up here. So when you say it's got to be the Patriots, is this coming from a place of bias because you just
No, I just think they have the better team. Shithawks, they have Jackson Smith and Jigma. He's one of the best wide receivers. They have really good running backs. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. Don't get me wrong. I think Drake May is the better quarterback of the two. I think Patriots have the better defense of the two. I just think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Patriots are going to squeak this one out.
So you think it's going to be a close game?
I do think it's going to be a good game, yes. I even think it might be potential for a high shootout, which is very rare these days when it comes to a Super Bowl. It always seems that Super Bowls are low-scoring games and not that great. But this does have the potential, I think, to be a decent game. But nobody cares but the winner. Nobody cares but the Shithawks. Nobody cares. Oh no, a lot of people do. A lot of people do care for the Patriots, Tom Brady era. But I mean,
so is there any storyline? What's the storyline going into this? That
there's no storyline really.
No, at all. Hey, well, that's not interesting.
Drake May and the Patriots have had the easiest schedule all year long and the easiest playoff schedule, so they haven't really been tested, except for maybe once or twice all year. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to have some over cockiness going in. Have they not been battle tested enough? Maybe the Shithawks are more thick in the skin that way. I don't know. But I think it's just going to be a back and forth shootout with the Patriots defense maybe getting the better of the Shithawks, and we see a 33-30 Super Bowl.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm obviously going to go for the Seahawks. Sounds like I don't have much choice. But is there anything you want to put online for this?
Oh, we've had all kinds of bets in the past. We've had to shave our beards. We've had to go sit on Santa's lap.
Yeah.
I don't know. What kind of punishment are you thinking of this year?
I don't know. We haven't even really discussed this, have we?
No, we haven't. We can actually leave it up to our audience if they want to leave it in the comments. What is a good punishment for our Super Bowl bet? Leave it in the comments. And if we do choose your idea, Condon, what do you think? Should we send that person a T-shirt from our store?
Yes, that's right. We got a brand new store with a couple of designs. Yes, I think so. And we should, yeah. So that's what we'll do. Good idea.
Bob's your uncle. Leave in the comments, folks. What is our punishment for the Super Bowl? Now,
as I like to do, I like to ask ChatGPT about it. And here's some suggestions. Do you want to hear some suggestions from ChatGPT?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's see if any of these work. Some of these. So this is under light/funny, public embarrassment, low pain. Wear the winner's jersey for a full day. Loser buys wings and beer for the group at the next hang. Change your profile picture to the winning team's logo for a week. Now, is something like that, would that bother you, Aaron, to have to put the Seahawks logo as your profile picture?
Honestly, no, not really.
No. What about a post a sincere apology video explaining why your football takes were bad?
Nah.
Medium, 24 hours letting the other person control your social media. That's interesting.
That is interesting, but I don't think I have the time or the patience for that.
I definitely do.
I know you
definitely do. Eat a Wheel of Punishment meal. So spin for hot sauce, weird combo, spice level.
Well, we've been there and done that. That always seems to be a favorite of ours. We could go in that direction.
Sure, yeah.
I had a 1 million Scoville candy. Remember that one?
Yes,
oh, boy.
That's right. Oh, yes, my God. And you almost died when you drank the hot sauce.
Almost died live on a podcast. Yeah, you can check all these videos out on our YouTube video or YouTube section.
That's right. And then, I mean, look, harsh, last place gets a tattoo.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you already, imagine if you had to get a tattoo and it would ruin all the beautiful tattoos you already have. One tattoo could just throw your entire thing off.
That's okay. All my tattoos are shit, so no worries there.
I love every one of them. Every one of them. I mean that. I don't have a tattoo, so that would be interesting. Open mic nights. So going up and doing open mic, which I've done in the past to great success, I must say, depending on your measure of success. Aaron, is there any place for you to go up and do? I think I like that one, actually. Is there any place that you could do open mic, stand-up comedy?
I will not be doing that. My God. I know you already have a show scheduled or trying to do a show. So, I mean, you're already in your comfort zone there. But me, no, I'm not. No. There's no way I'm getting up and doing stand-up. That's the worst. No.
I think we got something, man. I think we got to do it. Put it on the list. We're going to put it on the list. You're so adverse to this. It would be like me if I got to get a tattoo, I don't have any tattoos. That's crazy.
You can hide the tattoo.
Yeah. I kind of like the open mic thing. I think. And then we got to shave your head rule. Loser has to shave their head. I don't think that's going to work for us.
No.
Anyways, that's all that ChatGPT has. I do think that it came out with 2 interesting ones, though. So we'll have to keep that on the back burner, see what people want.
There you go.
What else do we have to talk about? We talked crap about everything, didn't we?
We did. We were going to talk about your political run, but I mean, we're already almost at an hour, so I don't know if you want to save that one for next week.
Yeah, we'll save that for another time.
Okay.
Because that's a lot to get into. It's a year of my life. It was a great time, but it's not something that I can sum up in just a couple of minutes.
Definitely not. No. So I guess we can wrap it up for this week then.
Well, Aaron, do you have anything coming up this week that's going to be interesting? Going to any shows? Doing any refereeing or announcing?
Not this week, but February 13th, Love and Violence, RCW, Innisfail, Alberta. Get your tickets now. I will be doing the ring announcing for that show. IPW, Final Frost, will be happening at the end of February. You can check them out. Island Pro Wrestling. My goodness.
Those
I
are
think
all
that's
very good.
it. Yeah.
Perhaps we have something else coming down the pipeline that's going to be very
Yes.
interesting.
Perhaps.
We'll just leave that tease as it is. And of course, next week we will be talking about the Super Bowl. I don't know. Are we going to have the guys from IPW on next week, or is that
Probably the
later?
week after, yeah.
Week
A couple
after?
weeks from now, yeah.
So we'll be keeping that wrestling thing going as the people love, and maybe a little bit more. You know, the Epstein files came out over the weekend. I don't know if you've seen any of that.
Yeah. Not all of them, apparently, but a lot more have been released, yeah. And there's some
It's explosive.
horrible stories coming out in that thing.
Well,
yeah, it's crazy.
I got to say, like, my plan with doing this disinformation thing was to ultimately lead to the end result being we are being governed by people who ritualistically abuse children. Because if you look into all of these sort of disinformation conspiracy theories, that seems to be the common thread amongst all of them. But now, like, it's been pretty much confirmed. So I don't know that you can really call that a conspiracy theory anymore. It
No,
just turns
no.
out that everybody's a pedophile that is in control of us. So hopefully we'll do something to take care of that. What do you think?
Hopefully. That's the whole point of this podcast, to get people talking, right? Expand
That's
your
right.
brain, think
Because
good
if we're
things.
versus anything, Aaron, sorry to cut you off, but this just came to me. And maybe you'll agree with me on this, but you don't have to. But if we're versus anything, Pat and Bish are versus pedophiles.
We can agree on that. Yes, wholeheartedly.
Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Great way to
Looking
end the
forward-
show.
Yes, looking forward to getting back at it next week. And remember, everybody, as I like to say at the end of every episode that I do, and I'm trying to remember the exact phrasing as I'm talking about this, and I'm blanking on it. I got to be honest with you, but I believe it's like something like prepare for the worst, but hope for the best.
Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Cool. I like it. You could do that. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, buddy. See you later.